Hey you guys, we are here in the heart of Evans. Today we are talking all things home inspections. So we're here with Brice Bragg of Hometeam Inspections. Let's find out what's up. Well, hey, Brice.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. What you doing up there?
Just finishing up the roof for this house.
Okay.
I'll be down in just a second.
Awesome. Now this house is about to change ownership, right?
It is.
Right.
So usually when I come to do a home inspection is in the middle of the due diligence period after a house has gone under contract.
Okay. So this house is under contract, getting ready to have some new owners.
That's right.
Yeah, awesome.
Let me just put away my collapsing ladder.
Wow, that is some kind of ladder. I need one of those.
I get that comment a lot. They makes it really convenient to carry around so I don't have to have a huge truck.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That is awesome. So are we going inside, or are you?
Yes, we can go inside
first?
now.
Okay,
Yep.
Awesome. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, so this is a nice house.
It is. This is a very nice house.
It is. Super nice. So you're doing a full home inspection. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so the purpose of a home inspection is to evaluate, look at all the systems of the house to make sure they're safe and operating as you intend the house to operate.
Okay.
So I'll go through, like this house has a crawl space. I'll go through as much of the crawl space as I can go through the attic as much as I can go through, get on the roof like we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Check all the windows, the receptacles, looking under the sinks for the plumbing, make sure the plumbing's not leaking, all those things. Check the appliances in the kitchen, just try and do a completely thorough evaluation of everything in the house to make sure it's functioning as it should.
Sure. So with a home inspection, what your responsibility is to be, are you sort of the advocate for the buyers, or are you the advocate for the sellers, or you're just neutral?
So neutral generally, but legally I am the advocate for whoever orders the inspection.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's who I'm working for.
Right. I gotcha. That's your client.
That's my client.
Okay.
But I don't really play favoritism towards one
Sure.
way or the other.
Right.
I'm just reporting how the house is, the condition the house is in at the time of the inspection.
So you don't have, your opinion really doesn't come into play. It's just the standards based
Right.
on the operation.
That's right. So we actually have SOPs. A lot of people are familiar with those standard operating procedures.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay.
And so as home inspectors, we do actually have SOPs.
Okay.
What we should do, what we should not do. For instance, I'm not a licensed pest control person, so I cannot comment on if there is or is not an infestation of pests, whether that be termites, carpenter ants, mold, that sort of thing. Now, if I see things that indicate that, I will tell you, and it'll be in the report. But I cannot diagnose and tell
Sure.
you what it is and how to fix it.
Sure.
So that's just one example.
Exactly. And that's a good example.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good example. So you're totally non-biased.
Right.
I mean, you're just coming in and saying, this is what it is. And how do you determine, now you're with Hometeam Inspection, so
Yes.
that is a franchise.
That is. It is a franchise. I own the local Augusta office.
Okay.
So I service the whole CSRA. For me in particular, we're at the border with South Carolina. So I actually have to have the license for South Carolina to do inspections over in South Carolina.
Okay.
Georgia does not currently, I'm sure it will be changing soon, but currently Georgia does not require a license. There is no license for Georgia. So,
okay, now that just makes me pause.
yeah.
Okay, so give me a little more information on that. So there's no license. So can anyone just be a home inspector? Can you say, I just want to become a home inspector? Certainly, maybe there's no license, but
Yeah,
I mean.
technically that answer is yes. You could print cards and just go about it. But in order to get a business license for the county that you're working in, you have to have errors and omissions insurance and workman's comp insurance. And in order to get those, you have to have at least a certificate that is usually an 80-hour course with a test that you have to pass in order to get the insurance, in order to get your business license.
Right, okay, okay.
Generally, no, you can't just show up and start doing home inspections.
Sure. But South Carolina, license is required.
That's right, license is required, so you have to, same thing, you either have to do a certain number of inspections with somebody and then take the test, or you have to do a certain amount of training hours online and again take the test. And there is also a national test that I've also passed. It's the National Home Inspector Exam.
Wow.
It doesn't give you a license, you're certified that you passed the national exam.
Sure. Well,
so
I mean,
that usually counts in lieu of a license as well.
Sure. Well, I mean, the standards are there.
Right.
This is not some flippant thing.
Right.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if I were buying a house right now, I would not know all the ins and outs of how does the electrical outlet supposed to work and the plumbing and all that stuff. So there's got to be someone who can advocate for us to come in.
That's right.
And trust,
and that's
knowledge.
My goal. My goal is to be, I tell a lot of people, my goal and my, what I shoot to do when I come to do an inspection is to go in the places you don't want to go or don't know to go and look at the things you don't know about to look at.
That's right.
And so, I'll crawl through the crawl space as much as I can. Now, a few things that, again, the standards of practice that for instance, if I open up the crawl space and there's a rattlesnake looking at me, I will try and get it out of the way, use a stick or something like that and move it to the woods or something. But if there's something staring back at me, or say there's it's full of water or something like that. Now, those standards of practice say that I don't have to go in there. I can just report that I wasn't able to, it wasn't safe for me to. Recommend that a plumber if it's full of water, or pest control if it's got animals in it, that sort of thing.
But even in a situation like that, you're still putting those things on the report.
Right.
So you're still, and I'm certain, I mean, you're a great communicator, so you would have communication with your customer, your client. If they said, well, what exactly was it? Certainly, I could imagine you getting on the phone with them and saying, well, it was a rattlesnake. And, if you want to call whoever and have that snake removed, I mean, would you be willing to run back under there real quick?
For sure.
Okay, because this is your business.
Right, that's right.
Okay. I got it. Well, that makes total sense. Thank you for explaining that to me.
Yeah,
I know that, I watch the real estate market, and with homes even damaged from the storm, things like that, people are still buying and selling and renting. And
they are.
And they don't know. And how can you know if you're not trained to know?
That's right.
So, I mean, I think it's very valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like to work with, a lot of the builders in the area. They, if it's a new construction, a lot of the builders will require a certain amount of insurance and verify that you are competent in doing an inspection. Again, not just anybody just walking up to do the inspection.
Sure. What are you seeing? Not to hammer on the storm. We don't want it to define us, but it has shaped the way we're doing things.
Yeah,
so what are you seeing from that? Are you seeing specifics going into some of these homes that have been damaged? Yeah,
I mean, obviously there's quite a bit of roof damage. Now we're getting into that phase where roofing companies have come back and replaced roofs. So sometimes I'll go back to do a re-inspection afterwards to make sure that the roof has been installed correctly. Those sort of things. Water damage, a lot of a lot of slab houses, if they're not graded right, or over time things, you know, settle just differently, that sort of thing, go back in and make sure that if they had remediation done from maybe water getting in the house, because we did have a lot of rain.
Yeah.
And make sure that things were, you know, done correctly for that.
Up to par.
Yeah.
Great. So how is your system different? How is your system different than some of the other systems out there? Or is it just that your system is a system and you follow that protocol?
So there are a lot of great inspection companies in town.
Absolutely.
But I'm a little bit different in a few different areas. One, I try to have 2 inspectors at each inspection.
Okay.
So,
and do you do that for time's sake, or do you do that just so that they can put another set of eyes on things?
Yes, for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
Time's sake, it allows us, average home inspection is between 2 and 3 hours.
Wow.
If they're doing a thorough job and it's standard items that we're finding, that sort of thing. With the second inspector there, we can clear a house, a standard, you know, 2,000 to 3,000 square foot house with standard 5 or 6, 10 things we're finding. We can clear that house in between an hour to an hour and a half. We target 90 minutes for the inspection, and then about 30 minutes if the client is there to walk through the house again with them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
To explain what we found.
Sure. So I know for us, we're self-employed, and sometimes like it's fine to have that client there. Sometimes it's like, I just want to finish the work. How do you feel about that? Is every situation different, or are you okay with the clients being there while the inspection is going on?
I do prefer that they be there.
Oh, wow.
The most ideal is, again, we're shooting for about 90 minutes.
Sure.
So if it starts at 1 o'clock, say about 2:30, they can look around a little bit while we're finishing up, and then we'll wrap up with a few minutes just going through the summary items.
Sure, sort of the hot topics, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Well, are there some things that maybe you could show me that you're going to do in here, just to give me a little sample of what you're doing? And you're just walking around with your pad. Is that just like so convenient?
So it is. So again, a lot of the great inspection companies around town, they'll have similar software. Maybe not the exact same software that I use, but it's similar, where we complete the inspection as we go. So like I would walk through, take pictures of all the rooms.
So you just do everything right here?
Right here on the tablet.
And then how does this information actually get to your client?
It'll be emailed out after the inspection.
Wow. So this is the portal?
It is, yeah. This is the portal. And so I'll take the pictures, upload it right into the software. If it's receptacles I'm checking, or plumbing or whatever, just take those pictures, upload it. And if I find a defect, I always try to take a picture of the defect so that they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sure. And then how quickly is that normally turned around to the client?
The same day usually.
Same day?
Yes. Yeah.
So you can go into a home, do the inspection, and normally within the same day, the client has that information.
Yes.
So if they're waiting on a closing.
Right, it can be very quick.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is. It makes it really
system.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that is super.
So we'll walk into the kitchen.
Okay.
And I'll explain a few things. So I'll operate the sink.
Okay.
Both hot and cold.
All right.
Separate times.
Sure.
For time's sake, I won't wait for the hot water, but I check to make sure hot water gets there. As it's running, I would normally leave the water running, come under here and look and make sure that there's no leaks anywhere.
Okay.
Through any of the plumbing and the supply lines.
Okay.
Make sure there's no drips or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I would run the disposal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Make sure it works and doesn't sound.
Can I hit it?
You can.
Okay.
I'll turn the water on.
All right. Let's see. Wait. Is this it?
That's it.
Oh.
Yep.
Is it working fine?
So it's working good.
I can cut it off?
You can.
Okay.
Yep. So I just run it just long enough to make sure that it doesn't sound bad or anything like that.
Sure.
One of the things I do find often, which this house has it taken care of, but the dishwasher's over here, and the dishwasher drain line feeds into the disposal. it's kind of hard to see just because of where it's at. But you want to make sure that that drain line goes up as high to as close to the bottom side of the countertop as possible, so that the water doesn't, say the sink was full, hopefully it wouldn't backfeed into the dishwasher.
Right, that's disgusting.
Yes. There's also something you can have, which is you really want an air gap, but most of them don't have that.
Okay.
They just don't install them.
Is that something that you recommend on your report?
It is better. If I don't see what's called a high loop, and that's what I was describing, where the drain line comes up as high to the bottom side of the countertop as possible, that creates the high loop, so that there's a loop in there, so the water doesn't come back up and down and back in.
Yeah.
So
that would be nasty.
that would be.
Yeah.
While we're standing right here, I also like to check. So this is a fan.
Okay.
It's a downdraft fan. Usually for stoves you have the hood above it.
Right.
But because this is in the island, there's no hood above it. It's built into the stove.
And that's totally fine.
It is.
Okay.
But I'll turn on all the eyes, try to test them all at the same time. In particular, this is electric, so I try to test them all at the same time on electric. And the reason for that is, again, I'm checking for safety items and functionality. We are coming up on Thanksgiving.
We are.
And you would hate to have 4 things on the top cooking, and then you realize it keeps tripping the breaker because you can only use 3 at one time and not 4 at one time.
Wow. Yeah.
So I try to turn them all on at once. Same thing, if it was a combo unit with the oven, I turn the oven on and all the eyes on all at once, so it's got maximum power coming to it.
Okay.
If it doesn't trip the breaker, then you can assume it's good. And
you're bringing up a good point. I want to see if you can check for me. I don't know if you can, hopefully. Electricity.
Yes.
I mean, that's a very narrow window of someone's knowledge.
Yes.
So show me, like, what do you check for as far as electrical?
Okay, so again, in the kitchen, it's a great thing to look at.
Okay.
We've got 2 receptacles. There's actually quite a few right here, but 2 receptacles right here.
Lots of receptacles. That's so good.
Most people know about GFCI, or ground fault current interrupting breakers.
Okay.
They think of them in the bathrooms with the hair dryer falling into the tub scenario, right?
Sure.
You want it to trip so you don't get shocked.
Right.
Well, that applies to any water source in the house. So any receptacle within about 6 foot of the water source is supposed to be GFCI protected.
6 foot of the water source.
So I'm about 6 foot tall. So
are you going to lay up there so we can?
Yes. But I'm also, my arms are about 6 foot.
That's right. That's right.
If I can touch this receptacle and touch the sink, that means this one should be protected by a GFCI breaker. Either this type of a GFCI protection, which is in the receptacle.
Okay.
Or you can also have them in the breaker panel where the breaker actually trips.
Okay.
So I would plug it in. It's green, showing that it's wired correctly.
Okay.
And then I have a button that I press. And so then that tests to make sure that it's tripping correctly.
Okay. So did that work?
It actually did not.
Note on the report.
Yeah. And so what I would do is, if I come over to here and test it, it should trip. And I can trip it like that as well.
Okay.
So it does trip. And now it trips.
So that one's good. Now, do you think this one will change now that you did this, or this one's going to get the big F?
We'll see. So I need to reset this. It doesn't want to trip. So again, and so here's one thing that would happen with that is usually that's going to be fed from that one. Usually.
Okay.
I don't know that because I can't see inside the walls and see the wiring.
Okay. So this would be something that you would note on your report.
I would note on it.
And this would mean sound the alarm. An electrician may need to check this.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah.
again, you're just noting. It's not your opinion. This is what we found.
Right, that's right.
Okay, great.
And so I double checked that. So I'll go like to the one on the other side over there and do the same thing.
Sure. What would you say is the number one thing that you find?
It depends on the age of the house, but across the board, probably the bathroom exhaust fans venting in the attic.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the number one thing, even in new homes. A lot of the builders just get away with it. I mean, I don't inspect to code. I'm not a code inspector. That's what the county inspectors are for.
Absolutely, that's right.
But I do know a fair amount of codes that are kind of across the board.
Sure.
Each county's got their own different little codes
Sure.
here and there, so I don't keep up with all of them. But for instance, bathroom fans exhausting in the attic has been a requirement for a long time now, and they still don't always catch them.
Okay. So is that one, with that being the number one that you see, is that one that the homeowner can normally take care of themselves?
Usually pretty
Anyone handy can normally
usually
repair that,
Yeah.
or call the builder up and say,
Yeah.
hey, get over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a
Exactly.
problem.
Yeah.
And how do people use the inspection report? Like, is it a negotiation tool? Is it like...
It is usually a negotiation tool. So and this is one of the things that my software is a little bit different than other companies.
Okay.
For the buyer's agent, they get an additional link, but it's an additional piece of software that's on their dashboard.
Okay.
Where they get all the summary items with the pictures and the comments. They can make their own comments, add, like say, the example I like to give is, there's a swing set out back.
Okay.
I don't inspect swing sets.
Okay.
But if that is part of the negotiation of the house, but the swing set needs to be repaired or something like that,
Sure.
the buyer's agent can go snap a picture of the swing set, add it into that software, make a comment, say it needs to be repaired. All the items, it's the repair request list. So all the items that they're requesting to be repaired go in there. They generate a PDF right on their phone. They can attach it right from their phone to the amendment to address concerns.
Sure.
And then it goes right over to the listing agent.
Well, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great tool.
Yeah.
What a time saver for the real estate agents,
Yes.
the
It
client,
really helps them a
etc.
lot.
So
Yeah.
it helps them just to, again, just bring light to the actual condition of the property at the time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's it.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Anything that you would want us to know that we haven't discussed yet? Just a parting thought. Anything that you can think of? How important is a home inspection?
Very important. Usually the things I find, report on safety items, and like if there's a missing receptacle cover, or
Sure.
say like that receptacle's not tripping like it should.
Sure.
That's a very cheap and easy fix.
Sure.
I'm going to report on that.
Sure.
But the receptacle not tripping because it's safety will go in the summary. But say it's the cover plate is broken or something
Sure,
like that.
sure.
That might not make it. I'm just using that as an
Sure,
example.
absolutely.
Certain things might not make it into the summary, but they're in the report itself.
So everything is conclusive.
So everything is conclusive. So one thing is get fairly regularly where they haven't read the full report.
Oh,
they
wow.
just stop at the summary and look at the pictures
Sure.
basically, and
Sure.
don't go any further.
Sure.
The other thing I try to do is take model numbers of the air conditioner and the water heater and all that, so they have a catalog of those items to refer back to years down the road.
Later. Yeah.
Again,
Because that's their report.
right.
They own it.
That's right.
They get it.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Well, I thank you so much. You are doing a great work.
Well,
I know
thank
you're
you.
helping a lot of people
Thank
who
you.
don't know anything about all these things.
Yep.
And that is awesome. How can people best get in touch with you?
I've got an office number which actually rings to my cell phone, so I usually just give my cell phone number.
Okay.
It's 706-836-1111. 1429.
Okay.
And I also have a website, which is hometeam.com/Augusta.
Awesome. Because you're the Augusta franchise.
Because I'm the Augusta
That's
franchise.
Easy. That's
Yep.
easy. And turnaround time right now, as far as someone reaching out to you and you can do an inspection normally within
48 hours.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, depending on the schedule, I actually had somebody call me this morning.
Wow.
For one this afternoon.
Awesome.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is so good.
Yep.
Thank you so much. This has been a wealth of knowledge. I'm hoping
Yep.
this will clear things up for people.
Absolutely.
And they can make good decisions.
Yep. Well,
thank you, Brice.
Yep.
Have a good one.
You too.
What's Up is a departure from traditional advertising and marketing, offering a way to grow your business or enlarge your community event through visual strategies utilizing social media and television. Let us share you, your business, or event in a brand new light. Reach out to us today to discover how we can best serve you. Enjoy our content? Consider becoming a contributor today. Your support will help cover production costs and allow us to continue to bring quality content to your screen. Simply go to our website and hit the button at the top of the screen. As a thank you, your name will be featured in the closing credits of the show. Thank you for your support.
Hi, my name is Ben Goss with Keller Williams Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, I can help you reach your real estate goals and dreams. If you're selling, my unique marketing plan includes a combination of listing photography, video tours, and drones. And because I do all the marketing myself, I'm able to help my clients save money. I don't want to be just your real estate agent for one transaction. I want to be your real estate agent for life. So give me a call today. I look forward to hearing from you.